Well, hello, everyone. Hello. This is Monday.
It's Monday.
And we are glad to be here on this Monday.
Yes,
Monday,
it is.
another great Monday that we are here.
Yes.
The day after not Thanksgiving, the day after
Valentine's Day.
And
What a
we
beautiful
are back
day.
here today.
Yes.
For another great Monday. We thank
So
you all
grateful.
that have joined us on this great night.
Yes.
We are just blessed to have this opportunity to come back on the air one more time.
Yes.
It's such a wonderful thing to have you with us on tonight.
Yes,
It
is.
is Monday.
It's Monday.
And we are glad
We're
to
happy
be
to be
here.
We're so
on
glad
this
to be here.
Monday.
Glad to be with
Monday
you.
evening.
It's Monday. We made it.
All
We made
right.
it.
Here we are.
And this was a nice Monday because it was another holiday. Another holiday. I'm not used to all these holidays. This new career path that I've jumped into allows us to have, I had Martin Luther King Day off. Now I have President's Day off. And it was so relaxing to be at home, to be with you, to cook a nice meal. And things are just, God is good. He's just an awesome God. And we're just grateful. We're thankful. We're just getting everything set up for you to enjoy this Monday night, February the 15th, 2021. And we are continuing our conversations on how do you get your point across? How do you argue? How do you express yourself? How do you, do you argue to persuade, or are you persuasive, or are you embracive? Think about that. Are you persuasive or are you embracive? Another question you can ask yourself. Do you want to heal a matter and get to the point of the matter, to resolve the matter, to make things better in the church? Or do you want to just kill the person? Are you wanting to heal or to kill? That's the question we wanted to ask tonight.
Good question.
We want to know, are you an abrasive person or are you a persuasive person? Or are you one that wants to heal a matter or kill a matter?
Yes.
A person that is striving to make their point. And we are so excited because we made it, I say about, a fourth of the way through our lesson plan from the last few weeks dealing with this matter, and this has been so impactful. We've gotten a great response from people wanting us to continue to talk about this matter.
Right.
And because it has been helpful, and people have been finding themselves. And we're grateful for a Monday night, another Monday night with you here with the Swanigans, here to just discuss some points on, are you embracive or persuasive?
Yes.
Are you, when you're trying to get your point across, are you persuading the person, helping the person to understand your viewpoint, or are you trying to be embracive and just choke a person out? Sometimes I can be both.
You say, as long as I get my point over with, it does not matter.
It does matter.
It does matter.
It matters.
You shouldn't be the one to say, as long as I get my point over, whatever, it is what it is. No, you should not feel that way, you should not have that thought. No.
Yes.
No, and you want to be happy with your decision along with the other person.
Right.
If it's not that both of you are happy, at least you come to a happy agreement.
That's right.
come to a happy agreement and say, okay, I can't get all I want. If I can get 25 and you get 75 this time, next time I get to 75, you get to 25. But come to a happy agreement that both of you will leave out happy and excited about the discussion that you had, that both of you all won't leave out there mad and upset, feeling worse than you did when you first came in.
That's right. And you don't want to don't want to say something that you regret later, and you have to clean up. You have to clean up the matter later on to try to heal matters. And, well, I wasn't meaning it that way. I was saying it that way, but I didn't really mean it that way. You don't want to have to go through all of that drama and all of those exercises. You want to be able to strive to get it right the first time. The first time. And that's the pinnacle of maturity is to strive to get it right the first time. Yes, we are growing in this thing, in our relationship. We're growing, but yet if you're really wanting to strive for perfection and you're striving for excellence, you want to strive to get this thing right the first time, okay? And you don't want to have to clean up something or re-explain or know what I was saying was and know what I really meant was. How many of y'all can relate to that? You can say, hey, that's how I do it. That's how I do it. Well, let's graduate. This is 2021, your year of graduation. How about that? How about that?
Think before you speak. Know that what's in the heart, the mouth is going to speak.
It's going to come out. It's coming out.
So try to make sure the thing that's in your heart is pure and good. So when it comes out, it'll come out pure and good.
Right.
It won't come out. It'll come out to heal and not to kill.
Wow, that's good.
Make sure. So think before you speak.
Okay.
Because we can both say something sometime that would be very cutting. And sometimes we don't care if it heal or kill. We could care less. But that's not the attitude to have.
It's not the attitude because
we should want to heal and not kill.
Yes. You really think about that thing later on. After a while, you're like, man, I should have said it this way. I really wish I could have gotten that point across, or if he would have just listened a little longer, or I could have, expressed myself a little better, or whatever. You start doctrine on the thing after you've done it wrong. When you want to, let's strive in 2021. Let's strive to get it right the first time. The first time. Amen. We wanted to talk about getting things right the first time.
Let's have a word of prayer. We're kind of into this, but we're going to have prayer. Father, we thank you for this time. We thank you for this opportunity to come before you one more time and to come before the greatest people that are in the world, your people, God. We pray that you would bless us, oh God. Help us to say something that would be an encouragement, that would strengthen, that would help someone, oh God, along their way and on their journey, God. Help us to say a word, speak a word, God, into someone's life that would bless them and help them. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen and thank God.
Amen. Welcome to Swanigan Inspiration. We're on Instagram. Hello, Instagram. We're on Facebook, Good Evening Facebook, and we're on our conference line as well for those that are not on the internet or doing social media. We're just glad to have you here with us on tonight. And we're excited about this topic because this one is one that we can really be real with and we can relate to. We have shared some stories, some real life stories. And we are just wanting to just put it out there and just to help you along the way. Let's just be honest with each other and just be real about matters and help each other. Help each other. You all talk back to us like you did the other night. And let's get engaged, let's get involved, and let's get healed and move on in our relationships. It's time to shift your relationship to that next level, to the level that you can feel comfortable about discussing things that really matter, discussing things that really hurt you, things that really are a concern of your heart, things that you want to talk about. But if you can't get through the argument, how are you going to get to the point? Think about that. How are you going to get to the point? If every time you bring up the matter, it becomes an explosive argument. So let's dig in. Let's get into this, and let's just do a quick review of the other points as we lower our music and we get things situated. And we will come back to that a little later on. And we're just glad that you're here with us tonight. Let's just do a quick recap. On the last few weeks, we asked you, how do you argue? How do you argue? We asked that question. Do you get mad? Do you get even? Do you shut down? Another category. Do you play the silent role and get violent, silent and violent? Do you learn how to and just downright deal with it? Those are some of the things that we ask you. And we ask you to ponder on that. We ask you to think about that thing and to be honest with us, to let us know exactly how do you deal with matters. We're just recapping some of the things we talked about. Some other things that we discussed these last few weeks was, let's see here. Do you start doing verbal avoidances, avoiding people, withdrawing from the situation? There is a time, a healthy time, to withdraw from the conversation. There is a healthy time to withdraw. And that the healthy time to withdraw from a situation or of a conversation is a time that two people come to an agreement to say, let's table this to a later date. Let's table this to another time that we can really come back to talk. Because right now, this conversation is going in a direction that I don't feel comfortable right now. It's not going in the direction that I thought it would go. And this has gotten more heated than I really want. I can't control myself. And I can't guarantee you what's going to come out of this mouth. So therefore, if we could do ourselves a favor by tabling this matter for a short period of time, until we can regroup with each other. Would you agree with that?
Because if you don't do that, you're going to come to the point to where you're going to say something that you'll regret later.
That's right.
And say, I wish I hadn't said that. I wish I hadn't said it like that. I had said it in a different manner, even in a different tone. Because once you're angry, we say things that a lot of times we really don't mean to say. But because we're angry, and we allow anger to take over.
Yes.
And that anger will make you say something that sometimes, I'm sorry, just don't do.
That's right.
So you have to be careful in getting violent once you get angry.
Right.
Once you get angry and get violent, then you're at a whole nother level.
You're at a different
then you
level.
Might start throwing things at each other.
Right,
you may cut each other. You may do some things for sure.
Shooting and
especially when you have kids or may have kids in the house. You don't want to set that example for them to show that, hey, this is just a violent house. I get mad with mom or dad or whatever the case may be.
This is how we do it.
We roll like this.
No,
it's
time to change. Big time.
No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to be in that type of situation. We want to be able to sit down like adults and talk about the matter and iron it out. Let's talk about it so that we can get this iron out and move on to the next thing.
That's so true. That's so true. We're just recapping right now. We're recapping on some things that we're going to be moving forward, but we wanted to make sure that if this is your first time listening about this subject, some other no-nos, some things that you need to avoid or watch out for. Some things that we talked about was the different masking a conversation, or masking when you're at that stage where you're masking, when maybe your boss or your child or your mate asks you, how you doing? Are you okay? Are you better? You maybe all have started into the conversation. It blew up. It went in the wrong direction. Then you come back together. How are you doing? I'm fine. I'm fine. Are you okay? You try to touch. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. You're masking the situation. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm okay. Those are masks. Masking is lying, basically. That's a physical form of lying.
Yes.
You're not being truthful. You're not being honest with yourself, with the person you're dealing with. You're just not being honest. And if you're not honest, you will not get to the root of the matter. There was one thing that I grew up hearing almost every day was, let's nip it in the bud. Let's nip it in the bud. I got so sick of hearing, nip it in the bud, nip it in the bud. So that basically means let's deal with it. That means let's deal with it. Nipping things in the bud. All this being touchy and don't touch me. I don't want to talk right now. I'm just not in the mood. I'm fine. I'm fine. Stop lying around the situation. Those are dishonest, learned behaviors that we do to be able to get a person out of our space during that time. That's what we're doing. So masking is not healthy. That's not a good time. Yes, there are times that it's just not, this is not a good time for us to talk about it right now. I'm just not ready to talk about it. I'm not, right now. And, I find being just honest and just saying, right now, that is a touchy situation, but I just right now it's just not a good time for me. Let's just not. Can we table that and we can come back to that at another time? And but all this, I'm fine. I'm okay. And let's just move on. Yes, it's good. I'm good. It's all good. We're good. You're good. No, that's not being honest. That's not being honest. So that is one thing that we talked about last week as well. Avoidance, withdrawal, leaving out of the room right in the middle of the conversation without the other person knowing that you're needing time to get regrouped. You're needing time to think about your response. You're needing that extra time. So those are some things that letting you know for yourself, you know what, this is not going in the direction that I thought it was going to go. This is not feeling good to me. I feel uncomfortable. I'm angry right now. I'm mad. I don't want to talk about this, or I do want to talk about this, and they keep avoiding the situation. Another thing was changing the subject in the middle of the conversation. Woo! That's another frustrating thing. That's disrespect. It's really a disrespect for you to just change the subject in the middle of the conversation. You're doing well in the conversation and things are going good, and then all of a sudden you're just, the other party just changes the subject and tries to get to divert your mind to think it's something different, or thinking a different way. Those are things that are just stumbling blocks or potholes in the road of life to try to make your engine fall out. Your heart, make you just lose your thought, your concentration, to be able to help this matter.
Never, when you're discussing a thing, don't ever walk out. I don't want to talk about it. No, you need to talk about it. If you just walk out of a room, that's showing your immaturity. That's showing immaturity when you can't just stay there and talk about it. Well, I'm hot. Well, I mean, at least just explain that. Hey, I'm just not right now. It's not a good time. We'll talk about it later. But don't just walk out of the room on somebody when you're talking or discussing a matter, because you're going to make that other person feel some type of a way too. When you walk out of the room, well, I'm going to bed. No, that's not time to go to bed. That's the time to talk about the situation. Try and come to some type of a head to the situation before you say, I'm just going to bed. I don't want to talk no more. Right. No, you don't do that. That's not a good way, because you leave some question in the other party's mind. Especially if you're talking about something that's really serious, you begin to leave questions in their mind. So always want to try to deal with a situation and settle the matter. Right. Try and settle the matter. If it has to be tomorrow night, you talk about it, but let that person know. Right now, I just don't want to deal with it. I mean, not to say I don't want to deal with it. It has to be dealt with. Right. But at least, be able to show the respect to the person. Say, we'll come back on this tomorrow night, because I don't want to say something that's going to be harmful, to our relationship. And I think the person would understand that if you would be able to just kind of, it's all about communicating.
Yes, it is.
It's all about communicating.
Healthy communication.
Healthy communication.
Healthy communication. That's what we're striving to reach towards in this new year, new determination, new mindsets. Another thing, belittling a person. That is just not good. Belittling a person and starting to name calling. Starting to call other person names, or talking about their parents or their sisters or brothers, or talking about their hair, their body shape, their size. All these things are just mean-spirited and wrong methods to handle and to getting involved in the conversation. That's just not the way to do. No. My size has nothing to do with this conversation. Right, exactly. And we're not even talking about my size. Right. My shade of color, my hair, my mom, my dad, my sister or my brother. That has nothing to do with the conversation. Now, if it does have something to do with the conversation, it should be brought up in a way that is not belittling, downgrading, upsetting, or an insult. It should not, it should not be brought up in that way. Now, if it's a matter that is being a problem in the home, maybe a family member that's being a problem in your home now, and it's something that needs to be discussed, and then sometimes things do come up that's hurtful, and it's just something we do got to be honest with each other and deal with that matter. There are things that comes up. Your mom that's staying there over the time that we had agreed on, or maybe we didn't set a time and just didn't think it was going to be that long. Your sister, your brother, your aunt, your nephew, somebody that you're helping that you did not intend to help this long, or and it's going longer, and then now you're offended, you're touchy, it's touchy. Right. It's a situation where it comes every time it comes up, it's a problem now. Every time we try to talk about it, but you know and I know that this is going longer than what we planned it to go.
And you can't get upset with the other party, your spouse. You can't get upset with them when they want to talk about the matter. It don't matter if your mama, your daddy, your brother, whoever it is. Right. You can't get upset with them. No. Your household and your spouse should be your top priority. Not your, Lord have mercy, your mama. Yeah, she has a place. Your dad has a place. But your spouse should be the number one. Mm-hmm. And if everything else is going to cause a problem in your house, then you might need to check that. You might need to check that. If you got to get upset with your spouse because they're talking about a situation going on in their house, in your house, then you may need to check that situation. Right. Look into that. Okay, well, maybe you're right. Don't just say you're right and still go on like they never said anything. Right. Because that way you're going to cause more problems. Now, the next time you want Aunt Lou to come stay, Aunt Lou can't come spend the night. Let alone talking about.
You got a nice hotel down the street, Aunt Lou.
No, and see, and then the person gonna reflect. No, you remember when Uncle George? No, we not gonna do that.
It's always one family member that runs it.
Because I know how you gonna react. I know how you gonna act. So
that's my family.
Yeah, that's my family. No,
we did this for your family. Right. Yeah, that's my family.
We're not gonna do that.
Yeah, that's your family, but one family member ruined it for everybody. And that's just like it is on the job.
Sure it is.
One person clowns on the job, then they have to set a whole rule for everybody. Right. And it makes it a big problem. It makes it a big problem for everybody.
And one bad apple
it spoils the whole bunch.
Whole bunch.
It used to be a song.
One bad apple don't spoil
the whole
yes, it does.
Bunch.
Yeah.
Yes,
Put
it
that.
does.
You try that. You put a cup, 2 or 3 apples in a basket and leave them there.
All of a sudden, one strawberry. I love strawberries. One strawberry is bad.
It'll spoil the whole
batch. After a while, if you keep it in there, if you don't deal with it, if you don't deal with that one bad strawberry,
you don't take it out of there and get rid of it.
Yeah.
You watch and see that whole batch.
That whole batch. You got a rotten, smelly situation.
Right. That's it.
You wonder what's stinking? It's the one thing you didn't deal with.
You didn't want to deal with.
That's it.
And it got ugly, and it got nasty and smelly.
And sometimes you can cut around some of the badness of a strawberry or a fruit or an apple.
Right.
Work around it. Work with the person. It kind of work with the person. But if you don't get to the root of the matter, like my dad always said, I just got sick of hearing that nip it in the bud. If you don't nip it in the bud, deal with that matter, you are going to have to throw the whole thing out.
You're going to have to
throw out the baby with the bath.
So, but that's what we have to, and I can imagine that a lot of family members have caused a lot of problems in homes.
Yeah, and in churches.
We
see family people trying to give people a break.
Family.
You know, you just gotta use your cousin. You just gotta use your family member. It can become a problem. Yeah. On a job. You're trying to do a business. You're trying to, you're trying to grow your business. You're trying to grow your ministry. You're trying to, make your marriage work or whatever. And here you got this one family member. I mean, there's lots of examples in the Bible where family was a problem. It was a problem. And it caused a bigger problem in other situations. Snowball effects. It was a problem for Barnabas and Paul when they were getting ready to go out on their second journey. And then they were getting ready, let me go get Mark. Paul said, no, we're not dealing with Mark. Mark left us in the middle of the journey the last time, and Barnabas wanted to get, that was a family member. And you know what? Barnabas and Mark split up. It was, the Bible talks about it with such great contingency. It was such great contingency because they couldn't even talk to each other. It was just such sharp, great contingency. Honey, arguments, family members can start big problems. Big problems. And if you don't nip things in the bud, if you don't deal with it, you can have a big mess where that relationship never re-mended together with Barnabas and Paul. Paul picked another partner in the ministry even. He ended up picking Timothy, wasn't it? Paul Silas.
Yeah.
He ended up picking Silas. And, and then later on, way down the line, Paul said, now Mark is now beneficial for ministry. Let's go ahead and get him and bring him back. After he realized that he can be a blessing now, backsliders can be a blessing. People that make mistakes can be a real big help after they've learned their point. They learned why that they messed up, and hey, wow, I really messed things up. And then you come back more humble, and you don't come back all proud and knowing it all and and things like that. No, you don't have that type of attitude. You come back humble. You come back with a humble spirit. If you come back any other way, you are not ready. You're not ready.
That's true.
So that was one thing we talked about.
Be careful with family. Family, be careful with family.
Yes,
they can cause problems in the household. Be careful. Be careful. Be aware. And you should know your own family. Know your family. You know your family. You know that they're a problem. Don't try to make them look like they're not a problem when you know they are a problem. You know your family. So we have to be careful. We have to be careful in that. Yes, we have to show love. But if we love, we have to take care of our home. We have to make sure we keep our homes together.
That's so true.
So anything on the outside can cause the inside problem. You have to be able to deal with it.
That's so true.
In a loving way.
That's right. So another thing we talked about is sugarcoating words, like little sweetie, little honey, boyfriend. Well, no, keep those words out of the conversation. Talk normal, talk decent. Don't use sugar-coated words because those can be insulting words at the time. We talked about, let's see, what was another thing that we talked about?
Forcing your view.
Oh, yes, that's another good one. Forcing your view. You're going to make that other person see what you have to say, to the point where you're going to hide their keys, to the point where you're going to block the door. No, you ain't getting out of here. No, No, you ain't leaving. You're going to force your viewpoint. Blocking the door, blocking the, prohibiting them from even staying warm in the house. We talked about another person that turned the gas off in the yard in the middle of the argument, and all of a sudden she was cooking, and he turned the gas off, and in the front yard, just crazy stuff, doing silly things to force your viewpoint. Yes. That's another thing. Don't do that. That's not good communication. No. It's not healthy communication.
Not at all. No.
Yes. Another thing we talked about was, what is this here? Sarcastic. Start using sarcastic tactics, words, sentences, phrases. Smelling people when they come in the house, or smelling their breath, or smelling, just doing things. What are some other things? Just being sarcastic with your remarks, sarcastic with your statements and things that that are hitting below the belt, things that are touchy subjects, touchy matters, but you're going there with that person. You're going, don't do that. Don't do that. We're going to be finding you in a trunk somewhere. We'll be finding you.
Lord have mercy.
It's the truth. It's the truth. People are on a short fuse these days, and we don't need to give them anything to, with the situation. Don't give them any rope to hang themselves with, or hang you with, or whatever. But let's just deal with this thing fairly. Sarcastic remarks, sugar-coated remarks, masking things, all of those things are no-nos, bad, poor communication. And they will lead to horrible arguments that will not be healing arguments, but that will be killing arguments. They will not lead to things that are being striving for you to be persuasive, but striving to make you abrasive. And we're trying to avoid that. All right, let's move forward. I think we recapped everything.
Let's move forward. Let's look at, we talk about number 8 is saying, number 8.
Okay.
It said, are you trying to win the point or hurt the person? Wow. Are you trying to win the point or hurt the person? Some things you can say can be hurtful, and it's hurtful. What you said? Can you imagine? Why do you say that and you know it's hurtful? Why would you say that?
This being mean. I can be meaner than you, or I can be more mean-spirited, or I'm going to get you. I know how to get you, or hit that below the belt type thing.
Why do humans do that? I mean, it's just a question for humans. Why do humans do that? I mean, we know that you can say this to that person or that person that would really be a low blow to that person. So why do we say that? Are we trying to win the point, or are we trying to hurt the person?
Yeah.
Are you out to heal, or are you out to hurt?
A lot of times
sometimes you have to ask yourself, am I out to heal this situation, or do I want to make it worse?
Yes.
And sometimes we just want to make it worse, so we'll just say things. And that's why that's saying some things sometimes. That mouth will say something that you'll regret later that you said. I wish I hadn't said that.
You know, they said about the teeth. Why God gave us teeth?
Why is that?
Because it's like the jail. It's the bars of jail cells
keep your mouth
to keep that tongue, that killing tongue, in gear. Keep it quiet, to keep it locked up. and so that's why God gave us teeth. They try to keep that tongue tied down and locked up behind bars. The bars are our teeth.
Wow.
So, you know, this tongue is a deadly member. We're dealing with that in our Christian education class, chapter 3 of James. It's a deadly member. Oh my God! It's a deadly member. It's like you know, like a big boat is being driven and being directed by the rudder, which is very small little part. Just the wheels, the little motor that's in the water, in the tip of the water. But that little rotor is running the whole boat, is guiding the whole boat. But that tongue is guiding that whole body. And it can kill a person or heal a person.
Right.
It can kill relationships or heal relationships.
Right.
Let's watch what comes out of our mouth.
Yes.
Read James chapter 3. Very good book. Very good book. Talking about the tongue of your mouth, what you saying out your mouth. Lord, guide my mouth, guard my mouth, bridle my tongue. Help me, God. Help me to say the right things.
Yes, it's a little member, but it boasts big things. A little member boasts big things, and it's a fire.
Yes.
It can start fires, my God, and it can put out fire.
Yep, yes.
The tongue.
My goodness. Ooh. Point number 9, it's very interesting to me.
It says, don't choose peace over conflict when this will cause a problem.
Say that again.
Don't choose peace over conflict when this will cause a problem.
Don't choose peace, which is a good thing, over conflict, which is something we like to avoid.
Some people like to avoid.
Some people it's their personality style to go right into it.
Yeah.
They're like firefighters when it comes to conflict. They like to go into a fire.
Yes.
And a lot of people, they like to exit the fire. They like their back to be to a fire. Or some people like their face to be to, I'm going in. I'm going in there. I'm just going to go scared. I'm just going to keep it real. My grandmama kept it real. My mama kept it real. Sometimes keeping it real will keep you dead. Will get you dead. And sometimes keeping it real is just not going to keep a relationship. If you're having struggles with why can't I keep a man? Why can't I keep a relationship? Why me and my child don't get along? Because you keep everything real. And I'm not saying lie. I'm not saying that. But there's a time to keep things real. And there's a time to say things more. Bible says, with loving kindness have I drawn thee. So if he drew me from love, what is it going to take you to draw that other person? That family member, that person that you love, that you're trying to win them over. You're trying to convince them. You're trying to persuade them. And you're trying to help that child. Maybe it's your child that you're having problems with, and you just don't understand them, and they don't understand you, but yet it's just a constant friction there, like sandpaper, rubbing up against each other, you and your mom, you and your sister, you and your family members, just like paper. Well, it's because sometimes you kept things real, but the Bible even says, speak the truth in love. Selah, think about that thing. Are you speaking the truth in love? In love. Turn those roles around. Is that how you would want to be talked to or handled or dealt with? What measure are you putting out? Is that the same measure that you're wanting back when it comes time for you to receive a rebuke, a correction, a turnaround, another chance? Is this the same way that you would want this thing to be handled? So talk about this.
Choosing the peace over a conflict.
Okay.
Sometime let's just, this is a little listen to a little story that was told. The book crucially conversation tell of a surgeon of 8 medical professionals that were part of a surgical team. 7 remained silent during a surgery for a woman having a tonsillectomy. When the doctor started moving the part of her foot, the doctor started moving part of her foot. No one said anything to avoid an argument or confrontation with the doctor. Now, that's just downright ignorant. But the patient left the hospital with part of a foot removed instead of tonsillectomy. This doctor was operating on this person, was supposed to be giving this person a tonsillectomy. Instead, he cut off part of a foot.
My goodness.
All the people that were standing around knew what was supposed to happen.
Right.
But they said not a word. Why? Because they didn't want any conflict with the doctor.
Choosing peace over conflict.
They'd rather keep peace. But now, ask yourself, what type of peace did they really have with a patient that still got a tonsillectomy? To be amputated is now off.
Wow.
How do you feel? How would you feel? If I had just said, Doc, excuse me, doctor, these papers, I mean, they had to have the orders right there. Doctor, this is saying that she's supposed to have a tonsillectomy, not a foot surgery.
Right.
I believe that I don't feel like that doctor would have caused him not to get probably the big lawsuit that he got. Once he did that. And some of them might have been added on with the lawsuit because they were part of the team. So what, more than likely the whole team suffered because nobody wanted to have any conflict with the doctor.
My goodness.
I'd rather go along with the program than stir up any conflict. Even though I know the thing that is going on is wrong, but I'd rather not say anything and keep peace with this person or that person or with this situation.
You could be sitting in a beauty shop and they talking about, we've heard of situations, they talking about the pastor or talking about somebody you know, and you're sitting there just quiet. You're not saying anything. You're just quiet. I'm not going to say nothing. And they just talking. Yeah, I heard they did this. Yeah, this happened, that happened. And everybody, they's going at it. They're going at it. And they're just talking back and forth. And you know the truth. And you just sit there. I ain't getting involved. I don't want to say anything. I'm not dealing with that.
I'm not going to say nothing. No. I want peace. Because all these women in here, they be done jumped on me about it. Talk about, I'm a turncoat. Or they be talking about me. No, it doesn't matter. You have to still stand up for the thing that's right. If they had said something, this doctor more likely wouldn't have done what he did. Because he would have took a second look. Say, oh, wow, thank you all so much for causing me not to do something to this person that I wasn't supposed to do.
That's it.
I was supposed to give her a tonsillectomy instead of cutting off her foot.
More malpractices come from silent observations when they know that these matters could have been caught easily, been corrected just from somebody speaking up. It's time for us to stand up to matters on our jobs, discuss things, say things to your parents, to your children, to your sister, your brother, family matters, and speak up and deal with the conflict. It's time for you, some passive people that that like to have their back to the fire instead of walking into the fire. It's time for you to speak up. It's time for you to speak up. You know, God strategically placed you in the right place at the right time for the right reason. And you're called on to be able to help correct these matters. Some matters can be corrected because of you. Be strong and speak on up and speak up and go ahead and deal with that matter and go get into the conflict and and deal with some things and deal with it. And God's going to help you through it. He'll help you through it. He didn't bring you to it not to bring you through it. Yes. All
right. Number 10, are we at number 10 yet?
I think right at it. One? Yes.
This says,
this is a good one.
And this is something to really think about. Why are we afraid to confront an individual about a problem, but instead we address the problem to the entire team, hoping that it will hit the targeted person?
I had to say guilty.
And if you can't holler, amen, at least
say
holler
ouch.
Ouch, that's me. That hurts. Why is it that we have to talk to other people about a situation that we need to talk to that person about, but we would rather go and talk to somebody else about it, hoping that
it hits the right
they would go and tell the person. Why don't you go tell the person?
Right.
What's the problem with you going and tell the person?
Right.
It would more likely be accepted much better if you would go tell the person instead of somebody saying, I heard so-and-so said so-and-so, that so-and-so said so-and-so said so-and-so about this so-and-so over so-and-so. Yeah. Now, how would you feel instead of you just going and say, listen, this is what, can I talk to you about this situation? Even if it's something you've heard, you could be able to go say, look, I just want to talk to you about this situation. Go talk to them instead of trying to get somebody else to go and talk to them and tell them what you really want to tell them.
You know, something I had heard, they say, if a thing was done in the private, you should pull the person to the side privately to talk to them about it. But if a thing was done openly, then something needs to be said or dealt with openly. And you know, and it needs so that thing can be corrected on an open level, because sometimes you'll never get the same setting back together again. Some things may be said that need to be corrected right at that time. And why does it need to be dealt with at that time? Because you'll never get that audience back together again.
Somebody may not be there.
And that bone can get caught in that person's mouth. Choking that baby whoever, a child or whatever the matter is, it can choke that person to the point that they're now contaminated because they've heard something and nobody corrected that person. No one stopped them and said, you know, wait a minute, there was some matters that have to be dealt with. Sometimes you just got to speak out and say it, hey, this was not correct. I don't know where this information came from, but I'm here to clarify that this is the situation, or that's the. Just say you got a choir, and maybe you have two people that constantly are late, okay? Or maybe two people that are constantly causing some type of a conflict when it comes to the rehearsal. Instead of making an announcement to the whole choir, say, hey, this is what we're doing. I'm tired of this. I'm having a problem with this, or I don't like this. Instead of announcing it to the whole choir, why don't you pull those two people to the side and talk with those two people directly?
Exactly.
That's what this point is more or less. Exactly. Is that what it's talking about?
Yeah. Yes.
Instead of us, everybody having to hear it and having to deal with that thing, and it's like, and the group is like looking at who the person is. Right. Well, they talking about Bonnie, they're talking about Rosemary, they're talking about whoever, Right. And then now everybody's having to hear it. And instead of that leader, that person in charge, or the person that's being conflicted or being having that problem, instead of them talking to the, they're preaching to the choir. In other words, instead of telling that one person,
instead of going to one of the other
targeted
choir
members,
we're gonna go to one of the other choir members that may be friends with this person, and I'm gonna tell this person, hey, I'm so kind of tired of Sister Potato Head coming in late all the time. Ain't that something?
Why are they late? You know why they late? What?
In hoping that person will go and tell.
Yeah. The target person.
The target person that you really should go and tell. But you want to go a roundabout way because you're afraid to talk to that person. Wow. And why is that? Because you would rather have peace than conflict.
Wow.
But do you really have peace?
No, you don't.
You still have conflict. You just have it with yourself. Now you just battle with your own self because you don't want to face the music. Go face the music. Wow. Face the music, honey. Face the music.
Face the music.
Let's talk about
better.
That.
And people respect you more. They really do. And when you nip things in the bud, there's that word that drove me crazy. I guess my dad knew a little something what he was saying, huh? So, but when you deal with things, it really does make it more a person. I can appreciate a person more being black and white. Don't be gray, tiptoeing around. If my breath smells bad, well, maybe if I'm gonna bring some mints and I'm just gonna sit it up here on the speaker platform, just for anybody that needs some, or maybe let's just discuss hygienes, and everybody, you wonder, well, I know I have a tooth that needs to be replaced. Maybe they're talking about me, and I'm wondering. That's dealing with a person that's, they're gray. That's a gray person. Speak the truth in love. Speak that truth in love, and just, I just wonder, I don't know if you have a tooth that's bad, maybe that needs a little work on. But I just noticed, I'm not sure, I had to make sure it wasn't me, but I just wanted to make sure, and just speak the truth in love, Yeah. And everything's not going to start arguments. Everything is not going to start an argument. No. Everything won't be something. You will be surprised on what peace that is brought out of matters that surprises you. You're like, wow, I didn't even think it was going to go that well. It went very, very well. So everything's not going to be a conflict. Like number 11 says, be aware. This is kind of changing the subject a little bit. Be aware of your body parts when a person does something unhealthy. What are things that you do? Does your eye start twitching? When a person says something, make your blood pressure. I feel it coming up. I feel it rising. What are your body? Learn yourself. Know thyself. Know what things that are trigger points. That that rubbed me wrong, or it hit you in the stomach. You're like, wow. I guess one good thing is to kind of learn some escape routes. How are you going to work around? Where are you going to work with this matter? And that someone said something unhealthy to you. Said that was something that was unpleasant. That was not nice. It was nasty. Or like my son would say, nice nasty. Learn some, thank you, that's good. Some body language. Body language is key. It really is. My body language, your body language. Even when something is said or done, when I remember when I first became a first lady, it'll be 7 years this year. And we're picked on a lot because everybody puts, a target is on you. And you're a big influence when you're a leading lady. So I remember just when people were saying things, maybe that was, just in the general conversation, and things that were said that maybe was not comfortable to me or upsetting, and maybe I wanted to say something, but I was really watching, I gotta watch my mouth, watch how I say things, and watch how it comes out, and word my mouth properly, and I was drilling myself with all this being new and things, and when people were saying things, literally I would feel my blood pressure just going up, and I would just get a hot flash, just a hot flash, just would come over me, and I wasn't going through no change of life, all right? So that wasn't it, but my blood pressure was just shooting up right at the time when the person was saying something. And I mentioned it to another first lady friend of mine. She said, and I told her, I said, you know what, every time somebody says something that is unfavorable, upsetting, or maybe uncomfortable, or conflict, or awkward, I notice, maybe I'm fighting to hold my tongue, or fighting to, Lord, word my mouth, or something like that. And I noticed I could just feel my blood pressure just going. She said, that's the devil. She said, that is the devil. And she said, I'm going to pray with you right now. That's going to stop right now. And she prayed for me right then. She didn't go home and pray. She didn't go in her next time period to pray. She stopped right then and prayed. And do you know that stopped from that time up until this very moment? I thank God for that. Sometimes we got to, talk to other people. Hey, this is something I'm struggling with. Somebody that's at your levels. Someone that is on your same equal, that can be a help to you. Someone that can be a help to you, to help you through a situation, and share that with someone that's like this. You want to talk at your same level. Somebody either talk like this or talk like this. Talk up. So maybe if I didn't talk to another pastor's wife, maybe I talk to a bishop's wife, or maybe to someone else that can relate to me, that has been there already. Maybe they're retired. They are maybe an emeritus in that same role. So it's good to talk this level or talk up higher to someone else that either has been in that role or is maybe going through that same role now. And that way that can help you to be able to heal in that matter and learn your body language. Learn your own body language. Why is it that my knees start shaking when I'm ready to punch somebody? Why is it that my eyes start twitching when someone says something uncomfortable or awkward, you know? But learn yourself. Know your body language and get to know other people around you, their body language, and why they are doing the things that they're doing as well.
Do you know your body language when someone says something to you that's out of the way? Do you know what your body, how your body reacts, or what you do when someone says something that's not tasteful? And people say things sometimes that's not very tasteful.
So true.
Do you say anything back to them, or you just go on like, oh well, it is what it is?
Let it build up in your heart, a callus in your heart.
Then the next time you see that person, they may say something again. What do? Do you ever speak up to this person and say, hey, listen, that's kind of bothers me what you're saying. I mean, the last time we talked, you said it bothers me, you know, and I just want to let you know that bothers me. Sometimes we don't, because we don't want conflict, we want peace. We may would be able to help somebody really if we would just, not to say it's going to cause a big conflict, but you would really be able to help someone if you would just kind of speak up to them and tell them, listen, I just didn't appreciate how you said that. That didn't make me feel comfortable when you said what you said. So that's something we have to be aware of, your body language. Don't just go to sit there scratching your head and all that kind. No, speak up about what you feel, how you feel.
Right.
Because a lot of people will do the same thing. They won't second guess you. They'll say what they're going to say. And that's it.
Right.
Like it or not, I'm going to say that, you know. So be able to speak up to the people about things of that nature. If it's unhealthy and it makes you feel uncomfortable.
That's good.
Just speak up to them.
That's
What's
right.
our next situation here?
Okay.
We did deal with last week about the step back. We dealt with that.
Step back when this is time, when you feel that anger coming on you. You feel that things went, this is going ugly. This did not go the way that I wanted it to go. This is not going, this conversation, I brought this to a person. I took the step out and I said, you know what? I'm going to be the big person. I'm not going to just take peace over conflict, and I'm going to go ahead and address it, and it went ugly. This is the time that you step back. We talked about this last week. Step back. We said to slow down and blink your eyes. Blink, because a lot of times when you're angry, you're so positioning to hear the next word that you need to address, so that you can be able to come back on the defense. So you need to blink to help your thinking to start back, to bring yourself back into the moment. Bring yourself back into the moment. And your heart will start beating, starts beating. It feels like everything stops. Things go in slow motion. It feels like things go in slow motion, but you start talking with your heart. Let a person know that I don't like that bothers me. Why would you say that?
Right.
Why would you try to hurt me? That hurts me. Or let a person know. Let that person know, and that helps you to come back to where to out of your temporary insanity, because you can go into a temporary insanity, and the next thing you know, you're throwing that person up against the wall, or you're doing something that you didn't plan on doing.
Right.
Okay, so blink, take a deep breath, and step back and start thinking with your heart, speaking with your heart, instead of just saying whatever comes to the top of your head. Speaking with your anger, speaking out of anger, or speaking out of frustration. But ask God to help you. Ask Him to help you, and He wants to help us. He wants to help us. He's going to help us through these situations.
Yes.
Watch the content and the condition. What conditions are going on in the conversation?
Yeah.
Watch it. Sometimes you talked about earlier, your tone, a person's tone, and that might be something that you can't say harshly, hard, or you may have to sugarcoat it and say things a little more softer, and give an example of someone else that was, just like David and Nathan. He didn't just come to him and say, David, you messed over with Bathsheba's husband, and you took that woman, man, and you had him killed on the front line. God gonna get you. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. No, he didn't come to him like that. He came to him, with an example, of a story. There's a man that we knew that Oh my God, he could have chose anybody else he wanted to. He had any options that he could have chose from. You know, he was rich, he had many options, but he chose to take this other man's one little ewe lamb. All that other man had was one. What do you think we should do with him? What do you think? That's wisdom. That's wisdom, you all. That's going to help you to keep your head on your shoulders. My God, that's going to help you. We're living in a powdered keg society.
Right.
And a powdered, people are on fuse. It's so many deaths that are going on, and domestic violence. So much domestic violence, and people are dealing with, I got a call or text from someone very dear, and they were like, please pray for my friend. She's leaving her husband because he's punching walls in. You know, so many people are dealing with, what is that called? Mental illnesses. It's so real. Mental illness is real. And people are dealing with, they're living with powder kegs, people that are on edge, people that are frustrated, people that are angry. And we got to learn how to use wisdom to get to our points. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
That's a catch. It's a catch the problem before they become severe. That's a good. That's kind of me as of now. I hadn't told my wife about that. I kind of got one of my tooth that's kind of bothering me a little bit. I feel a little twinge in there, a little something in there. It's small now, but if I don't get it dealt with, it can become a major problem.
That's right.
It can become a major problem to the point that I can't sleep and I'm walking the floor like I have in the past had to happen. So before things blow up out of hand, deal with the situation.
Catch it.
Deal with it. Catch it before it becomes a major catastrophe in your life. You know, handle problems and talk about things before they just get totally out of control. And then the next thing you know, you're heading to the divorce court, or you're heading to the jailhouse, or whatever the case may be. But handle small situations while they are small, and then it can prevent them from getting bigger and causing more problems down the road.
Right. That's good. That's good. It talks about are emotions involved, scars, hurts, or angers, causing out-of-body experiences. That's what it's going to cause. Scars, hurts, and anger. It will cause an out-of-body experience. A person will
lose it.
Right, lose it. To the point that they're like, that wasn't you.
I went insane.
Who was that? You know, that's not even you. You don't even act like that. But they had an out-of-body experience.
Because they didn't deal with the situation.
They did not catch it while it was a small problem.
They did not deal with it while it was small. Now that it's out of control, now they have gone into this out-of-body experience because of the
temporary
hurt
insanity
and the scars that they're dealing with, and the anger that they have all pinned up in them that they never dealt with. Now it's causing them more problem than they ever bargained for.
Right. What signs or actions are telling you that this is not good? You are seeing them signs.
Something.
You're seeing before that argument started, before that blow up happened. You knew some signs, some red flags were there, telling you slow it down, back out of this, not now. You know, deal with this a little differently. Back out of this. You know, soften your paddle with this, because this is going to get ugly if you don't. Start looking for the flags. Looking for the signs. Start even in your relationships. My husband and I could tell when something, this is not going well. This went worse than what I expected. You know, this didn't go well, or wow, I didn't expect this to blow up like this. Well, you got to learn how to catch that matter. Catch it, and be able to slow it down, because anything can be said. Anything can be said, but it's how you say it, when you say it, and the timing and all of that. It all matters. It all matters.
Yes, it does.
It can be discussed, but it needs to be handled with wisdom. Ask God to coach your words with wisdom.
Yes.
There are some conversation killers. Have we gotten to that yet?
No, we are now.
Okay, good. Let's deal with that.
Signs people don't feel safe. When a person feels safe, they will be more open. I'm sure a lot of y'all notice that with people. If they don't feel comfortable with you,
even children,
they won't talk to you. They won't say things to you, but they'll say something. Wow, I was talking with them. They didn't say nothing to me about that.
Right.
Why? Because they didn't feel comfortable.
They didn't feel comfortable with you. Sometimes people say things to me or my husband.
Right.
I say, wow.
They didn't say that to me. They didn't mention that. People talk to who they really feel comfortable
They sure
with.
do.
But you can't get upset if they don't say nothing to you because they may not feel as comfortable talking to you about a matter.
That's it.
But if they feel comfortable with you, try to make them feel comfortable. Maybe it's something you're doing that's causing the person not to feel comfortable.
Maybe you cut them off.
Maybe we have to look at ourselves. We can't always,
maybe.
well, they don't talk. Well, it may be something about yourself.
Maybe
you know, when they don't talk to
them.
me or something that make them feel some kind of way.
Talk condescending.
That they don't want to talk to you. So you have to be able to look at yourself.
Right.
Don't always look at the person, they this, that. No, sometimes it's us.
Yeah.
We have to look at ourselves and say, wow, maybe I did make them feel uncomfortable or him feel uncomfortable. Maybe that's why they don't talk to me. But and sometimes that's the case. They do. It's you, and sometimes it's not you. It ain't always you. I don't always say it's you. Some people just feel like they just can't talk to you.
Some people are the problem. It's just like
they are the problem.
And sometimes a person can kind of like you, and they just don't feel comfortable with talking to you. I'm sitting there thinking of the samples and like, okay, we're not going there. You never know. You just never know.
You never know.
A person can kind of like, you know, they kind of like.
So you just
they have a problem with expressing themselves.
True.
So you just got to be careful. Just really got to be wise and know how to handle it. But there are signs. They're conversation killers. Some of the conversation killers, people making fun of you, people calling names or poking their fingers when they're talking. You know, when they're in the conversation, they using their fingers and this, you shouldn't be doing this kind of thing, and you better do this, and you know, you gotta watch that. Poking your fingers, making fun, saying things about a person, areas that you know that's sensitive to that other person. Name calling, we talked about that. You know, what are your styles of arguing? Stay alert. Before we go there? Okay.
Our time is about gone, though,
my goodness.
But let's start there next week. Let's pick up there next week.
Okay.
We'll come back again next week. Let's pick up there next week.
We got a nice way today.
We did. To try and do all you can to be peaceful, but deal with conflict. Some things you can't avoid. Conflict.
That's right.
You have to deal with it. It may get a little on the ugly side, but deal with it.
That's it.
I don't mean no harm, but we have to deal with this situation.
Yes.
And we have to go forward and deal with it.
Wow.
It may cause a little conflict, but we still have to deal. In the end, it's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
But we have to deal with the situation.
Yes.
Don't see someone driving into a car and don't tell them to hit the brakes and run into the car. If I had said something, that would have ran in that car.
Wow, that's so true.
But because I didn't want them hollering at me or saying nothing, I didn't say nothing.
I just let them do it.
That's on them. No, it's on you.
It's can really be something.
We're some kind of people.
My goodness.
We see people going in the wrong direction. We say nothing. We say not a word.
Yeah.
Until they done got into it and got a big mess going. I knew they were going to have them. You ever had somebody say, the Lord told me this here was going to happen to you? I didn't say nothing, but the Lord already told me.
That really angers me. Or when they get up and testify, I dreamt about something after something happened. I dreamed about it. I knew that this was going to happen.
It's too late.
Too late. Be quiet. Sit down. Be quiet.
Be quiet. Shut your mouth.
I knew that I was going to. I just didn't want to say that because it was going to upset you.
Say something.
Say something.
Say something, and you can help somebody by just saying something.
Yes.
You can say something.
That's right. What somebody said, trigger points.
Yeah.
Yes.
Say something.
Say something. Say something.
You can help somebody.
That person through. We're helpers one to the other.
Right.
We're helpers one to the other, and we need to help each other through matters. It's all in how you say it. You almost can say almost anything, but it's how you say it. How you say what needs to be said. Share this with somebody.
Yes, yes.
Let somebody else know about this. Please help somebody else through this matter. Don't just leave a friend. Don't just divorce a person. Don't just say, I'm not going to call them back no more. I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be their friend no more. I'm not going to do this anymore. You know what you're doing? You're leaving them to society to have to deal with.
That's it.
You're leaving that person. You know, when you say, you know, I'm not going to deal with this person no more. I'm not going to deal with this person no more. I'm done with this person. I'm not, you know, what you're doing is you're leaving that person to society to have to deal with.
Deal with them.
Now we have to deal with it. You know, so work with the person. Love a person enough not to leave them where they are.
Love them enough. Love them enough.
Wow.
God bless you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in with us tonight.
We're so
Hopefully
glad.
something was said that was helpful to you.
Yes.
Hopefully we said something.
We hope
will
we
come
did.
back on next week. Hopefully we can finish up this subject on next week. And not, we'll keep on.
We'll keep it on going. Keep it moving.
Because it's such an interesting, powerful subject
needed.
to be able to be talked
It's
about.
so
we
needed.
can, we don't want conflict, we want peace.
We want peace.
Sometimes conflict is necessary.
It's necessary. Sometimes it's
May not be
necessary.
great, but it's necessary.
Yes.
God bless you all. Thank you all so much for joining us
Thank you
tonight.
for watching
We will
tonight.
see you next time on
Swanigan Inspiration. It's Monday.
It's Monday.
You made it. God bless
God
you.
bless.
Have a good week.